back to the Money Pick Podcast, brought to you by Goodwin Investment Advisory, where our mission is to lead people to financial peace, independence, and generosity. I'm your host, Reid Trego, and today on the show, we are joined by GIA Lead Wealth Advisor, Justin Pitcock, for a discussion about Justin Pitcock.
Good day.
Good day. Welcome, Justin.
It's International Talk Like a Pirate Day is what I'm told.
Arr.
I haven't verified that.
Is that right?
Yep. Good day.
You wouldn't want to get
Maybe
that
that's
wrong.
British, but yeah.
That's great. So wherever you are and whenever you're listening to this, just talk like a pirate.
That's right.
It's great anytime. Who cares? Justin, hey, we just want to do an episode here to get to know you better. I think that people need to know our advisors here a little bit better, other than just the advice they give on various episodes. So just wanted to talk to you, get to know you a little bit. So just take me back a little bit. How did you get to GIA, and how long ago was it?
So Tim Goodwin had no choice but to hire me.
Is that right? Okay.
He was pinned, in a hard spot. But I started out as an auditor and actually audited Goodwin Investment Advisory. And when you're an auditor, nobody likes you. And so I didn't want to be an auditor forever. It was a great experience. I got to audit firms all over the state of Georgia.
You just had no friends.
And with no friends is very lonely. And trying to make friends, I decided I would proactively take the Series 65 exam, which is like the minimum requirement to be a financial advisor. Mm-hmm. It's the investment advisor law exam. That's the name of the Series 65 exam. And plus, as an auditor, I feel like I should be able to pass that exam as an auditor. So anyways, I did that and then did an audit on Goodwin Investment Advisory, by the way. It was just like a regular, check-in audit. We tried to go see all the advisors across the state every 3 years. And so anyways, did that audit and so got to know Tim. I had actually previously met Tim when I was doing my MBA at Berry College, and his operations director, Joanna, who also graduated from Berry. So kind of had met these folks before, but got to know them, in the business really well through the audit. And anyways, so in the meantime, after the audit, I'd taken that Series 65 exam and then started just keeping my eye open for job postings. And I was looking on the online websites like Indeed and happened to come across this posting for, the investment advisor position on Indeed. And it was Tim Goodwin listing that for Goodwin Investment Advisor. I was like, oh, great. I know these people.
Wow.
They run a good business. Like, I already feel like I know their business. So I called Goodwin Investment Advisor and said, hey, I'm sure you remember me, but
you don't like me, but you might remember me.
But I'd like to apply for the job. And so Tim tells me that he's like, well, if I don't hire you, like, what are the consequences? And so anyways, he had no choice. He had to hire me. That was a little over 5 years ago. And it's been the best choice I've ever made.
Awesome. So we're around 2018 then.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Good. So what did you do before this? You mentioned Berry.
Growing up, I always had an interest in finance, which is what led me to go get my MBA. At the time, I was working at Redmond Hospital up in Rome. I kind of worked all over the hospital, just depending on where they needed manpower. But I spent most of my time in the business office. And when I was in the business office, I wore a hat that was called the financial counselor. I helped people with, their medical bills, and when they had kind of issues with agreeing with what they were getting charged and all that, like help them sort all those things out. And it's like, gosh, getting to deal with finance a little bit, but I really like investments. I like financial planning. I'm going to go get my MBA. So I did that at Berry College, which is right down the road. So I was able to do the MBA program while working. And then eventually this position at the Secretary of State for Georgia came up, and I got to work for Brian Kemp and work in that auditor position. So I did that for a couple years, worked my way up to be the lead auditor there. And then decided I was tired of being lonely and became an investment advisor.
You just said something a minute ago, talking about the hospital, that you worked with people who had trouble agreeing with their charges.
Yeah, so pretty much everybody.
Just for our listeners, but this is so Justin. He has a way of taking the phrase billing dispute and turning it into people who are having trouble agreeing with what they're being charged. Yeah.
That wasn't a fun job either, but somebody had to do it.
Wow. Well, you've had 5 years of like actually being able to have friends. This is
this is great.
No wonder you're so happy. Okay. All right. Awesome. But I just wanted to point that out. That is so Justin in the way he worded that. Okay. So wow, you might have already swerved into this, but why did you decide to become a financial advisor?
Actually, while I was working at the hospital, having this interest in finance and just talking to my coworkers and my just friend network, I realized like a lot of folks don't know the difference between Roth and pre-tax. So I'd get questions like, should I save in the Roth 401k option or the pre-tax option? How much should I be saving? All these basic financial questions. And I realized, gosh, there's such a need for this. And I naturally had an interest in it. I love the stock market and investments and learning about the way the economy works and taxes too. I think of that as like a puzzle. Like, how can we figure out to pay Uncle Sam the least? and getting to know the tax code. I mean, there's a lot of people call them loopholes. I think they're just incentives. They're loopholes. It's totally putting the wrong connotation on what these things are. These are incentives that are meant to be there to incentivize certain behavior, and the reward is to pay less in taxes. So let's do the things that help us to pay less taxes, right?
Amazing. Yep. He did it again, by the way. Loopholes, incentives. He just changes the way he phrases things. So tell me about some of your hobbies personally.
Oh, man, I love to do just about anything outdoors, whether it's hunting, fishing, mountain biking, backpacking, cooking on the smoker. I love to do barbecue. So pretty much all those things.
Yep. We just had a conversation before we started about cooking on a Weber kettle grill or smoker. Yeah. Justin threatened to cook our pig podcast mascot.
Oh,
we have Notorious PIG here. He's a little pig and he's ceramic, but you don't want to cook him. But
put those ribs on the smoker. Better watch out, PIG.
Yeah, that's right. So I feel like each of our advisors here at GIA kind of has a sweet spot or a unique skill they bring to client relationships. What's yours?
I love working with business owners that, primarily because they've got more of a complex situation where we can take into consideration certain tax credits that might be available for them. Maybe we can do a 401k or a different type of retirement plan. And bringing they're really in a situation to accumulate wealth, and how can we solve that tax puzzle so to help them pay the least amount of taxes over their lifetime. And there's just a lot of incentives in the tax code that I can help those folks with. And then probably the other group is folks that are getting near retirement, and they're starting to think about strategy. When they should retire, when they what are they going to do for healthcare between retirement and when Medicare starts. So sometimes there's, if they retire before 65, there's this break. What are you going to do for healthcare? Well, all right, there's solutions for that. And again, tax strategy comes into play for that as well. And then, maybe the question is, okay, well, how can we maximize Social Security? Should I start now? Should I start later? We need to bring in knowledge of the tax code, knowledge of just how the different pieces play, so that the smallest amount of their Social Security gets taxed. Because Social Security can either be taxed or not taxed, depending on how much other taxable income you have. So there's a lot of moving parts there that I can help provide a lot of value in.
Yeah, I feel like we talk with our clients and here as a team a lot about like this left brain, right brain phenomenon. It's the left brain wants to do all the math and make sure the X's and Y's and everything adds up or doesn't, or balance and whatever. And the right brain is more about just peace and
Feeling.
stability and calm and, lack of anxiety in finances. And I do think you come very left-brained, but you have a bent that a lot of fully left-brained people don't have, and that is you do take into that right brain section.
The peace of mind part, it's a huge part of the success of your left brain decision. If you don't have peace of mind, it doesn't matter how good the numbers look, that strategy is not going to work for you because your right brain's going to sabotage that. So you got to bring both parts together, make sure that your right and left brain are in agreement. And so especially with retirement planning, gosh, when, folks ask, well, how much should I have in cash? Well, I can give you a numbers answer or like what's going to work for you based on behavioral finance. And that's where the right brain comes in.
I remember Tim, one time I asked him something about advice he would give to someone going into this industry. He said, most people think I would tell him to go get a finance degree. I wouldn't. I would tell him to go get a psychology degree because
there's the emotion can ruin your retirement. And so we have to know what those natural tendencies are and build a plan around that based on the numbers.
So you talked a couple minutes ago about clients who are generally good for you, business owners nearing retirement, want to talk tax strategy, make sure they can maximize tax incentives, as you say.
That's right.
I think also people who share some of your common interests, like outdoors and things like that.
Yep. That's probably one of the most enjoyable things about being a wealth advisor is getting to spend time with the people that I've grown a meaningful relationship with, go fishing with people, getting to just enjoy life stories, talking about barbecue. Gosh, what did you do that worked so good on the smoker? Or, what did you learn not to do? And so just getting to share those experiences. And I think finance is what brought us together initially, but I think what keeps those meaningful relationships going is that common interest. So
that's great. And you get to build relationships with clients that last for a long time.
Hopefully for, maybe generations.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, and as financial advisors, we manage and balance portfolios, but the unique value is that we work to understand our clients' individual goals. We get to know them so that we can have these kind of planning conversations that are so personal and unique to each individual. So thanks for being with us, Justin.
Yeah, thanks for asking about me.
Yeah, you got it. All right, let's go cook something on the grill.
Sounds good.
All right. See you next time, listeners. Thanks for listening. Hey, and also, if you have a question for us, email us at moneypig@goodwininvestment.com. And wherever you're getting this podcast, like, subscribe, rate, review. We want 5 stars every time. Thanks so much. We'll talk to you next time.
The Money Pig podcast is hosted by Reid, a financial advisor at Goodwin Investment Advisory. This podcast is intended to share information and perspectives, but should not be interpreted as legal, financial, or tax advice. The opinions shared by participants are not necessarily endorsed by the company. Goodwin Investment Advisory is regulated by the SEC, and the company operates in compliance with applicable securities laws and regulations.